My name is Rudolph. I'm a reindeer, actually a very handsome one, brown and beige dappled, well proportioned and nimble, and I'm a cheerful, obliging and generous soul. I suppose I'd better mention my red nose. Well, everyone else does. I'm a generic rarity. Maybe it's a bit like having a brown eye and a green eye. It just happens. Anyway, I'm the only red-nosed reindeer in the North Pole, and Santa says Mrs. Claus has me spoiled because of my good looks and loving nature. By the way, in case you're wondering, I'm multilingual. Mrs. Claus insists on it for everyone here. Apparently, reindeerese and elfese aren't widely spoken. But to get back to my bit of a fix that I was in last Christmas, this is how it all happened. Last Christmas Eve, everything was as normal. I pulled the sleigh with the rest of the team and Santa did the deliveries. Needless to remark, as the night wore on, he was taking longer and longer due to the excessive consumption of mince pies and sherry and any other drink that was put out for him. This, of course, inspired conviviality of a type best not mentioned to Mrs. Claus. She is forever going on about those hussies kissing Santa. To be fair, he is usually polite and circumspect with all the ladies, but he does display an enthusiasm for the generously configured blonde ones. But Mrs. Claus doesn't need to know these details. That night was bitterly cold and stormy in the northern realms, and the weather forecasters were alerting us to turbulence over the maritime regions when Santa took a lingering farewell of a luscious lady in the outskirts of Belfast. We'd just started our takeoff when a lump of wet booklet, lifted by the wind, thumped me in the face and tangled itself in my bridle and remained there for the rest of the journey. Despite the weather, it was a successful night, and on our return, Santa Claus said, "That was a great night's work, boys. Sure, we're a great team. Never mind Santa's little helpers. You're my wee hard workers. Sure, we're the envy of the business world." As I settled down to rest, my eye was caught by the words in the discarded booklet. A practical guide to workers' rights, it was entitled, and written by somebody called something Union. Contract of employment, I read. Terms and conditions, health and safety, equality impact assessment procedures. Beware workplace malpractice, it urged. I had never heard of such goings on, but I resolved that as soon as Santa had had a wee period of rest and relaxation, I'd bring him up to date on such important information. We all had to sing from the same hymn sheet. Well, when the time came, I told him all about workers' rights. His eyes sparkled and he shook all over, and his laughter roared out and tears ran down his face. Composing himself a little, he slapped my flank and said I was a great comedian. His attitude changed to one of bewilderment as I said that I would neither accept a 0 hours contract nor the designation of an independent contractor. I advised him that I was willing to encourage blue skies thinking and participate in an ideas shower, and would willingly cascade any new information to the Transport and Delivery Division, formerly known as the Reindeer. "What?" he shouted. "The Transport Division? You mean that herd of lazy articles who only work one night a year and eat me out of house and home the rest of the time?" "Well, what about ear defenders and steel-toed boots for the Production Division?" I ventured. "Who?" Santa shouted. "The elves," I clarified, before going on to suggest that if we all pulled together, we could square the circle. At this stage, alerted by the incomprehensible roars of her husband, Mrs. Claus joined us and sought an explanation. "The boy's babbling," Santa said. "He's raving about squared circles and steel boots and 0 hours and he wants paid. We need some urgent veterinary help here." "Tell me what you mean, Rudolph," she asked smoothly, and listened as I explained about the booklet. "Why do you think this applies to you?" she asked. "Because Santa always says we're grand workers and we do a great night's work every Christmas, So after I read the booklet, I figured that we needed proper employment practice. I know what we'll do with him, Santa shouted. We'll send him to Amazon or Hermes and he can deliver all year round for them. Sure, they're trying to put me out of business anyway. Oh, Rudolph, Mrs. Claus said, we're not a business or a workforce. You should know by now that we're a loving family who specialise in delivering good feelings once a year. We're not really workers. Now give us a muzzle and all will be well. By the way, where did you pick up that booklet? Belfast, I replied, nearly crying with relief. Belfast, she said. There are only a pile of comedians over there. Enough said.